Hi, I'm Jeannie Griffin, and I facilitate a family intensive program that I want to tell you about. During these 3 days, we incorporate head, heart, and feet, thinking, feeling, and behaving. Now, families attend with their loved one who may be in treatment or maybe have even been outpatient or gone into a sober living home or have even returned home. And I urge all the family to be there, the brothers, sisters, everybody, because everybody in the family was affected by what was going on in the home. Many families will identify the person that may have gone to treatment as the identified patient, but the whole family is the patient. The whole family gets affected. And so in order to heal, one person can't step out of the family and go get help and then come back to a family that hasn't changed. So I know what's happened in your home is upsetting, but it really is a call for everybody to look inward and find new ways of speaking with each other and just simply understanding, putting themselves in each other's shoes. So my job is to facilitate that. Now, will we solve all your problems? Absolutely not. But what we will do is begin to heal. And I've been in the field of addiction and mental health counseling for over 30 years. And I've written this program that has been very successful in many treatment centers, many families that I work with individually. And I know what I'm talking about. Everybody ought to come, brothers, sisters, you name it. And sometimes that causes problems because I say, well, why should I go? He's the problem, she's the problem. That's not true. The whole family has been affected. Now, sometimes there have been a brother and a sister or two siblings that have used together. Well, all right, we'll deal with that too. So first, we'll talk about what's the newest thing that we know about medically with addiction and mental illness. Then we'll have a chance for both the identified patient or the client and then the families to separate and talk about what their lives are like. Then we will also do an extremely important communications exercise. See, many of you have already gone to therapists and gone to family counselors and whatnot, trying to find a problem to identify and get solved. But what happens is many times you go to therapists who are not trained in addiction. So they're talking to the family about, let's use these new communication exercises, and never once turns to people in the family and say, have you used a chemical today? Have you had a drink? Are you high? So you learn a little bit, but then it falls away. So we'll do a communications exercise, and you're not going to say anything or hear anything that you haven't heard of standing in the middle of your kitchen. The difference is that the person who used to be on drugs is going to be sober that day when we do this, and you're not going to be standing there screaming at them. So, and then thirdly, I run this thing, I facilitate it, and I run it like an iron fist tight ship. Nobody is going to be yelling at one another. Nobody's going to be insulting one another. That will not happen. That doesn't get us anywhere. It's not healing. It's not productive. So I can promise you, you will be in a safe environment. We'll all be heard. And it may be something that you don't want to do, but I have done this for so long that by the end of it, people will say, I can't believe how much healing's taken place. And I'll just say, sometimes during the process, they'll say, I don't know about this, Jeannie. I say, I know, just trust me. I've done this for a long time. I wrote this program so that it will have a healing effect. Now, I still hear from people that I've had in this family program 10 years ago. And the first thing I ask is, are you doing the communication like we taught you? Well, no. Well, all right, then you need a refresher course. Okay. So I really urge you to come, make time, take time, make time. Talk with your counselor, talk to the therapist, talk to the person in charge at the treatment center that you're at, or whoever you're working with, and ask them, what are the dates this year? Now COVID has been a mess and messed us up, but we roll out dates for at least 6 months at a time. Now, when do you go? You go when your therapist recommends it, but get the dates ahead of time. You know, your loved one may just be in treatment a week or 2 weeks. Well, you're not going to go until that therapist says that your son or daughter is stable enough to do this. So talk with them, but get the dates ahead of time so that you can kind of mark them off in the calendar and see when would be the best time to come. Work with the therapist and discover when would be the good time for the client and the good time for your schedule and everybody's schedule. And I know it's hard to coordinate. I'm trying to do that with the family right now, 5 of them. But they're all over the country, and they're all in different states of denial. And they've looked to their mother always as the switchboard of the family, or the one that gets them all together. And I have told her to resign from that position and let me be the one to pull this thing together. So I'm watching this family, and it's interesting to watch who's dragging their feet, who's ready, who says, I'll be there, and who doesn't want to come because they don't want to look like they're the sick one. Well, the whole system has gone awry. We don't have to use the word sick. It's gone awry. And we want to start on the road of healing for the whole family. So please, ask it. If you haven't heard about it, ask the therapist, ask the counselor, ask the case manager you're working with. When is a family intensive? Can you give me some dates so we can begin to prepare? Yes, I know my son or daughter might not be ready this month, but I want to know the dates so I can kind of work around those. I hope you do come. It'll be very healing for your entire family. Thank you.